Good afternoon, Holmes Road Church of Christ. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. I don't know how many of you keep up with sports news. I know many of you don't, but lately in the world of women's tennis, there's been some really sad, kind of interesting news lately, geared around a little lady by the name of Naomi Osaka. She claims that due to her mental health status, that she can't do press conferences and therefore had to avoid media while at the French Open. Well, the French Open and pro tennis, they have rules about the tennis players having to make themselves available to media. So obviously there was a conflict just waiting to happen there. And Osaka, she showed up at the French Open and she did as she said. She avoided the media and wouldn't talk to them. And the French Open then fined her $15,000 and said that every time she missed a media event, that the punishments would escalate, even eventually ending in her having to be thrown out of the tournament. So she basically just quit and withdrew from the tournament. And so, there's a lot of debate going on right now on whether, athletes should have to do media or not. But many people are forgetting the backstory. Many people are forgetting why Naomi Osaka is struggling with this mental struggle to begin with. We got to remember back in 2018, in the ending of the Open Women's Tournament, was very unfortunate back then in 2018. Serena Williams was matched against the then 20-year-old Naomi Osaka on center court for the championship. Osaka won the first set 6-2 and had a narrow 4-3 lead in the second set when the chair umpire gave a verbal warning to Williams because he saw her coach was giving hand signals from the stands. Now, in tennis, coaching during a match is forbidden, according to every Grand Slam rules of all of them. But over the next few minutes, the situation escalated and turned very, very ugly. Williams told the umpire that she had never cheated in her life and she didn't appreciate being accused of cheating. And as her anger increased, she smashed her racket on the court, drawing a 1-point penalty for the racket abuse, which is, again, racket abuse is against the rules in tennis. Then taking it up a notch, she pointed her finger at the umpire and called him a liar and a thief for issuing the penalty. And she reiterated that she doesn't need to cheat to win and that she would rather lose than cheat. And she demanded the umpire apologize publicly over the microphone. And her name-calling, finger-pointing, and demand for an apology, that just caused the umpire to step it up even more. And so he awarded her an entire game penalty to Osaka, which gave Osaka a 5-3 lead at that point. Osaka, who had the most powerful serve in the women's division at the time, served out the final game to win the championship. And in the press conference after the match, Williams defended her actions as standing up for women's rights and women's equality. Her reasoning was that men got away with all kinds of foul language and verbal abuse of umpires, often without even getting a warning. She felt there was a different standard of conduct allowed for men than women. Now, folks, my goal in this devotional is not to take sides on this issue or to get into women's equal rights or any of that stuff. That's not my meaning of this devotional. My point here in this devotional is to suggest that either party could have diffused the situation. I used to be a basketball and football ref myself, and I've been in game situations when players or coaches pressure me to change a call or admit to an officiating mistake. And there were times when I had to just walk away from a very contentious situation for the good of the game so that it wouldn't escalate any further. To be fair, both Serena Williams and the chair umpire at the time, his name is Carlos Ramos, each thought they were in the right. If the situation had ended at that point, there would have only been a verbal warning and a great match could have continued without any further incident. But instead, both parties were at fault for escalating, but both sides pushed their perspective, and each party's response kept fueling the fire. When something like this happens, few people will tend to look ahead to see how it will affect future things and the ramifications of the situation. They are totally consumed in the heat of the moment with their heartfelt point of view being discussed. Naomi Osaka would eventually head to the victory podium without being able to feel the joy of victory that she had earned in that tournament. For her extraordinary effort, she was soundly booed by the fans. Both Williams and Osaka were both in tears at the victory podium for the trophy presentation. And to her credit, Serena Williams told the crowd not to boo Osaka, and she made an effort to hug on the winner and comfort the winner, but it didn't need to happen this way. Osaka obviously still has mental struggles today from that incident. And it's because each party decided to dig in their heels on the initial incident and we're not going to back down. This is when diffusing the situation is critically important. How do you handle situations when you think you're in the right? Many situations could be prevented from getting way out of hand by either party had they not felt they just had to prevail. They had to win. I think back to a core question: what would Jesus do? In that we Christians, we ask that all the time. What would Jesus do? Folks, we can't control others, but we can control how we react to situations. Our reactions can either diffuse a situation or fan the flame and make it escalate into a bigger situation. In a difficult situation, seek ways that you can respond that do not make the situation worse. In James chapter 1 of verse 20, James says, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires." Getting the last word in a disagreement doesn't make us a winner. Serena didn't win in her disagreement. Ramos didn't win in his disagreement with her. The only loser in the situation was Osaka. And to this day, she deals with it. Getting the last word doesn't make you a winner. The term righteous means to act according to divine or moral law, to be free from guilt or sin, to be morally right or justifiable. Church, perhaps it's better to be righteous than to be right. That's my word to you, Holmes Road. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.